Alright everybody, what's going on? Today we're going to be reacting to This One Mistake Won the Celtics an NBA Championship by JxmyHighroller's. Because you know we love our boy Jimmy. So let's go ahead and get this shit rolling.
It's June 27th, 2013. The Miami Heat just won their second straight NBA title. Jason Kidd and Grant Hill just announced their retirements. And the 2013 NBA draft is about to begin. The first overall pick was going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And with their stellar track record of #1 picks, their selection was bound to be a future Hall of Famer, franchise-altering caliber player.
The Cleveland Cavaliers select Anthony Bennett.
That didn't work out too well, did it? Like, yeah, he didn't work out too well. That's crazy. Well, at the end of the day, he was a player that was, supposed to be good. It's just one of those shit. It's like the Kwame Brown situation. Kwame Brown was drafted, and he was supposed to be the next big thing. And, sometimes busts just happen.
Toronto, Canada, and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Turned out, he was not. On June 27, 2013, the Cavaliers selected Anthony Bennett with the first overall pick in the draft, a player who would go on to play just 4 seasons in the NBA, never even averaged 5 points a game, and is widely considered to be the biggest bust in NBA history. And somehow, the Cavaliers drafting Bennett wasn't even the worst decision a front office made in the NBA that day.
Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, all going to the Brooklyn Nets. Celtics get 3 #1s, 2014, 2016, 2018. Humphreys.
I remember when this shit happened. I was so confused on why they broke up the team. It made legitimate, at the time, I was a kid. I was like 14, 15. It made no sense to me. I didn't understand the trade at all.
Wallace, Evans, just a bunch of stuff. Clearly the Celtics are...
In what was described by many as one of the worst trades in NBA history, the Celtics traded away their 2 All-Stars in Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce for 4 aging role players, a rookie who played 5 minutes a game, 3 first-round picks, and a pick swap. A big haul for the Celtics, but the ultimate 50 cents on the dollar trade. Fans were shocked, appalled, the trade being described as completely lopsided. Trading away 2 all-star caliber players and a starting level veteran for 5 players, the majority of them probably won't even see the court in a Celtics jersey, and 4 picks that may or may not pan out? Unforgivable. But little did fans know, 11 years later, this trade would trigger a sequence of events that would lead them directly back to a title.
I wonder how he's going to make this work, okay? I wonder how he's going to make this work. Because he's saying that there's been this is championship. We'll say champ. I wonder how he's going to make this connect. You see what I mean? Because he's saying that there was a sequence of events, as weird and wavy as it is, that led to them getting a championship. But my thing that makes me worried is that, here's the championship again, is that there's secrets of events that are all just disconnected all over the place, and they just happen to get a championship at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's causation and correlation. Is it really straight line to the champ? Not straight line, it could even be wavy, but is it gonna tell me this is why they got a championship, or is it just a lot of disconnected shit that ended up at the end of the day getting them a championship, but are completely separate on whether or not it mattered? But we'll see. Let's continue.
Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 on anything will receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's right, turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just by placing any wager. But the action doesn't end there. From tip-off to the final buzzer, DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boost, and so much more. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. DraftKings is the one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy, where you can have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code JxmyHighroller's and bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code JxmyHighroller's only at DraftKings Sportsbook. In basketball years, 2013 feels like a lifetime ago. The league was completely different. We had yet to be introduced to some of our favorite players. Three-pointers didn't dominate the game, and the Boston Celtics looked like this. The core of their 2008 championship winning roster still intact, minus Ray Allen. This team and this team are worlds apart, with nothing in common other than the name on the front of their jersey. This 2013 team was good, but the door on their championship aspirations was closing quickly, and time would tell that they would never go on to win another championship. What they would do, however, was inadvertently spark a chain of events that would ultimately lead to a championship over a decade later. They didn't know it at the time, but this team was about to make the ultimate sacrifice that would inevitably guide the future of this organization back to a championship. And it all started with one trade.
God.
Well, there was a huge trade agreed to last night, and this is the one Berman is certainly not happy about. According to reports, the Boston Celtics will send Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to the Brooklyn Nets for a package.
One thing I'm wondering is he going to say if this didn't happen, they don't get Jason Tatum, they don't end up winning a championship? Is he really going to try to say it? I'm not against Jxmy Highroller. I respect the man's opinion like crazy, but the only reason I'll disagree with that is because, again, we don't fully know. Even if they don't get Jason Tatum, we're not fully sure if it would have mattered. Maybe they get a player that they could develop. Like, development is huge. I'm a Chicago Bear fan, okay? We had some quarterbacks that we drug into the ground that probably should have been something special, okay? Development is huge, so what does it matter if they do or don't get Jason Tatum? What if another team gets Jason Tatum, their development is trash? What if he got drafted to, like, the fucking Wizards or some shit? Development's trash, he doesn't end up being that great of a player, and they ended up drafting, like, Trae Young or some shit, and they still end up winning the championship at the end. So I just don't, I feel like, as far as him saying, like, all that trade led to all these events happening, which, you know, they're all connected and led to a championship. I just don't know. I don't know about that. I gotta see. Because it sounds like a little bit of coping for this trade, because at the time, this was a bad trade. You can't retroactively make a trade good. This was a bad trade. But let's keep going.
Of players, including Jared Wallace and 3 first-round picks. Now, the rebuilding movement in Boston is clearly in full effect now. In 1 week, the Celtics nation has said goodbye to Doc Rivers, Pierce, and Garnett. The Nets, meanwhile, put together an all-star starting 5. It's looking pretty good.
In the summer of 2013, the Celtics broke headlines by trading Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to the Brooklyn Nets for what felt like to fans at the time, very little in return. The deal itself wasn't great, but trading away the heart and soul of the team was an emotional gut punch for Boston fans. Not only was the team that Boston fans grew to love completely stripped away, but this trade meant the Celtics were going to be in rebuild mode for the foreseeable future. But Celtics GM at the time, Danny Ainge, had a plan. A timeline that was going to take the Celtics to the lowest depths of the league before inevitably bringing the organization back to glory. And that timeline began just 6 days after this fateful trade. On July 3rd, 2013, the Celtics hired former Butler University head coach Brad Stevens. Now, Stevens had never coached in the NBA before. He was just 36 years old, and he was handed over one of the worst rosters in the league. The 5-player haul the Celtics got in return for Pierce and KG was about as inconsequential as expected. Keith
God damn. Yeah, this was not a good lineup.
Bogans and Marshawn Brooks played a combined 10 games for Boston. Chris Joseph played a whopping 24 minutes in a Celtics jersey. Chris Humphries was on to a new team after just 1 season, and Gerald Wallace was retired within just 2 seasons, which meant that the near future of the most successful and storied franchise in NBA history would be determined by their 4 newly acquired draft picks. By the end of the 2016 season, 3 years after the infamous trade with Brooklyn, the Celtics roster looked like this. The 2 remaining players from the 2013 roster were Avery Bradley and Jared Sullinger. The team was painfully average throughout those 3 years, and they used that 2014 first-round pick they received from the Nets to draft James Young, who didn't really pan out. But they did have an all-star guard in Isaiah Thomas, and 3 remaining picks from that trade with the Nets. What they managed to do with these picks would become a masterclass of NBA management and nothing short of a miracle.
I don't know if he's going to bring it up, speaking of Isaiah Thomas, but hold on. I believe Isaiah Thomas was done dirty by Boston. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he was done dirty by Boston. Yeah, so I think the reason he was done dirty is because I believe that instead of giving Isaiah Thomas the contract he deserved, they just got rid of him. If I remember correctly, my memory may not be rock solid on that one. Because keep in mind, this was years ago. Let me look up real quick. See if I can find this. And then he kind of just bounced around the league. I know he went to Cleveland, Phoenix, played overseas. Kind of feel bad for the guy. But at the end of the 2016, yeah, I think he'll bring it up. I would have to sit here and actually look for it. As far as the contract disputes go, I don't have it based off my memory. I don't know. I don't remember everything. I just remember that I have a memory of Boston Celtics like fucking over Isaiah Thomas. I could be wrong on that, but we'll see if he brings it up, and we'll see what happens from here.
It all starts with the Nets being absolute dog water in 2016, winning just 21 games, the 3rd worst record in the NBA. This gave the Nets great odds in the draft lottery and resulted in them landing with the 3rd overall pick in the 2016 draft, a pick that now belonged to the Celtics. Now, at the time, these picks that the Celtics received were a complete shot in the dark. Many people believed this 2016 pick was going to be a mid to late first rounder because no one thought the Nets would be as terrible as they were.
Now, the picks are first rounders in 2014, 2016, and 2018. Now, they will probably not be lottery picks because of the fact that the Nets would probably be doing well by then.
Turns out this pick wasn't just a lottery selection, it was top 3. And with this 3rd pick, Boston selected a 6'6" two-way guard out of Cal who was getting comparisons to Jimmy Butler.
With the 3rd pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Jaylen Brown from the University of California, Berkeley.
Jaylen Brown got off to a slow start with Boston, but the potential was clearly there. And
Good player. Good player.
with the addition of Al Horford, who signed in the offseason, the Celtics would go on to have their best season in a decade, winning 53 games, earning the #1 seed in the East, and making a run to the conference finals. Their luck was turning around, the fateful trade in 2013 fading into the past. But that Nets trade would prove to be the gift that just kept on giving. After their 2017 season, the Boston Celtics were set up for one of the weirdest occurrences that can happen in the NBA. As bad as the Nets were in 2016, they managed to outdo themselves in the following season, winning just 20 games and having by far the worst record in the league. And
that is crazy how these picks turn out, though. That's why picks can be valuable when you go down to it. So that's why go right back to Sketchpad. I'm not fully against him saying this, right? But at the end of the day, again, the reason I don't want to grant this is because they had no clue that the Nets were going to be that bad. They were handing them a good core to work with. They had no idea. They had no insider information. There was no chance in hell they could read the future, read the tea leaves, and know that those picks were going to be good. Every fucking thing was telling them that the picks were going to be bad. Okay? So that's why I don't like, you can't retroactively make something good. You know what I mean? Because let me take this away from basketball, right? Let's say I am speeding down a highway. Not a highway. Let me take away highway. Just speeding down a residential street. And I'm going fucking 90 miles per hour. Okay? And let's say that there's this assassin guy who's about to hurt you. He's about to, bam, about to jab you in the neck right now. And I'm going 90, and I fucking just smack into him. Right when he's about to take your life, I smack into him. Even though I saved your life, it doesn't take away the fact that I was going 90 miles per hour and breaking the law. It doesn't take away the fact that I was driving recklessly like a motherfucker. So even though I did a good thing in the future, it doesn't take away this past event. I still fucked up. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, just because they got a championship, right? I don't think it takes away the fact that this trade was bad, dookie, garbage. But let's see. Let's continue.
This meant that despite the Celtics finishing the season as the 1 seed, thanks to that 2013 trade with the Brooklyn Nets and the 2017 pick swap that came with it, the Celtics had the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. Now, this has happened before, both in 1978 when the Blazers finished the season as the 1 seed and the Pacers just willy-nilly traded away their first overall pick before the draft, and in 1982 when Cavs owner Ted Stepien traded away their first-round pick a few years prior, leading to the Lakers having the #1 pick in the draft after winning a championship. In fact, Stepien was so reckless with his trades that the league had to step in and make a rule, essentially preventing owners and GMs from shooting themselves in the foot. So the fact that the Celtics had this pick in the first place was miraculous. But what Danny Ainge did next was not a matter of good fortune, but rather genius. Instead of using their first overall pick, Ainge decided to trade down and swap picks with the 76ers, giving them the first overall pick in return for the 3rd pick in the draft and a future first rounder. The Celtics front office already knew who they wanted in the draft, and it wasn't Markelle Fultz or Lonzo Ball. They also knew that they were going to get their preferred player regardless of if they were picking 1st or 3rd. So in one of the ballsiest moves in draft history, Ainge traded away the 1st pick for the 3rd, got the player he wanted, and got a free future first rounder in the process.
This was okay. This is alright. So let's go ahead. Let's go back. Alright, he's connecting. He's connecting. The first ball is on the way. He's connecting. That was good because at the end of the day, Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball at the time was 1-2. It was 1-2. Everybody had Fultz. Some people had Ball, but it was 1-2. Period. I know what he's about to say. Jason Tatum was drafted. Jason Tatum was not being talked about like that. So that is fair. That is fair. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a fair point. That is a fair point.
The player they selected in the 2017 draft was just the player they needed.
With the 3rd pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Boston Celtics select Jason Tatum from Duke University.
By 2017, the Celtics went from an average team drifting in no man's land to earning the top seed in their conference and securing one of the best young duos in the entire league. Their next task? Building a championship team around their new young talent. And they still had one more pick remaining from the KG Pierce trade. So on August 30th, 2017, 2 months after they drafted Jason Tatum, Boston traded away Jay Crowder, Isaiah Thomas, and that 2018 first-round pick they received from the Nets in return for Kyrie Irving. By the end of the 2017 offseason, the Celtics roster had completely turned over once again. The first seeds of a championship team were being laid. But time would prove that this team wasn't quite ready for the big stage. The Celtics were good, making it to the Eastern Conference Finals in their first season with Kyrie and winning nearly 50 games in his second season with the team. But it became clear that Irving did not share the same priorities or expectations as the organization. So in the 2019 offseason, Kyrie decided to not return to Boston and, ironically, signed a 4-year deal with the Brooklyn Nets.
I just think it's sad when we look at Kyrie leaving Cleveland. Like, honestly speaking, if Kyrie would have stayed in Cleveland, I do think LeBron and him could get one more, maybe even 2 chips under their belt by themselves. Like, I do think the quote-unquote media, he complains about that a lot. And I do think the media was getting to him. I mean, here. It's when you get shit said to you like this.
Let me.
Tristan called LeBron a great father after the Chicago game. What? Yes, he did.
Great father. Oh, a great father. Oh, I thought he's. Oh, my bad. I interpreted that completely wrong. Okay. I thought you said he was a great father to him. I was like, what?
Called him a great father. So, what type of parental role has he played for you and your teammates, LeBron?
Look. This is the face of, I know she didn't just say another grown man's my goddamn dad. There's no fucking way she just sat there and asked another grown man if I look up to him like he's my papa. Like I look up to LeBron like he's my papa? Yeah, it's just questions like this that probably annoyed the shit out of him. And instead of, like, he blamed LeBron when really he should have just blamed these like, she shouldn't have asked that goddamn question. And he even admitted, you know, he came out later down the line and said he apologizes. He probably should have stayed. It is what it is, but damn, bro, like this, man, I wish he would have stayed in Cleveland.
This was a huge blow to the Celtics. It completely caught them off guard. They lost an all-NBA player, and they got nothing in return. The first step backwards for the organization during their rebuild. At this point, the Celtics knew they had a solid foundation with Tatum and Brown, and if they wanted to win, it would be with a team built around these two. So that's what they did. Over the next year, they drafted Peyton Pritchard in the 2020 draft. They acquired Luke Cornett in a trade during the 2021 season. They signed undrafted free agent Sam Hauser, and they traded to bring back Al Horford in the 2021 offseason. By the start of the 21-22 season, the Celtics finally had some continuity with their team. 10 players from their 16-man roster returning from the 2021 season. But 8 years after their 2013 trade with the Brooklyn Nets, long after the residual aftermath of the trade had seemed to come to its natural conclusion, there was one last gift that trade had to offer for the Celtics. Now, if you can recall, in the 2017 draft, the Celtics used their pick they got from the Nets to draft Jason Tatum, but not before trading away the first pick for the third pick and a future first rounder. Well, that future first-round pick came into play in 2019, when the Celtics selected Romeo Langford with the 14th overall pick. Now, Langford didn't quite work out for the Celtics, and so in February of 2022, the team packaged Langford, Josh Richardson, and 2 first-round picks in a trade with the San Antonio Spurs in return for Derek White. And just like that, nearly a decade after what was...
That was a good pickup. That was a good... Okay. All right, because they picked them up. Even though the draft, you know, the pick didn't work out, and if it didn't whatever, still, that was them. That was all them. Okay. He's starting to make this work for me, all right? I know there's only a few minutes left, but at the end of the day, I think he is starting to make this connect for me.
Described as one of the worst trades of all time. The Celtics turned an aging Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry into Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White. 8 years later, turns out that trade wasn't so bad after all. But the Celtics weren't done yet. After a finals appearance in 2022, the team was hungrier than ever. They were close. They had the tools. They knew they were still missing some pieces, and they knew just where to get them. But in order to have a chance at a title, they would have to make their biggest sacrifice yet. On June 23, 2023, just 3 weeks after their season came to an end, the Boston Celtics broke headlines in a 3-team trade with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Washington Wizards. Through this trade, the Celtics acquired Kristaps Porzingis. What they had to give up? Their leader and the heart of their team, Marcus Smart. A trade that was described as one of the most difficult decisions the organization has had to make in recent history. But it had to be done. The Celtics were one step closer to their ultimate goal. And just before the start of the 2023-2024 season, Boston made one last move that would prove to create the winning formula they had been seeking.
Jrue Holiday is a Celtic just days after being dealt from Milwaukee to Portland.
Okay, he changed my mind. He legitimately changed my mind because Kristaps Porzingis, you know, that's a little bit of a line, nothing too crazy. But Jrue Holiday, yup. He changed my mind. Yeah, you can definitely see a connection from start to finish on how this connects to being a championship team. Like, I'm sorry, but Jrue Holiday was a massive pickup. I remember when this shit happened. I literally said Boston won the champ. Not only did I say Boston won the championship, 100% gonna happen, I put my money down on that motherfucker. I put my money down. I said, fuck yeah, money on the Celtics. And you know what? I got my money. This is not... You probably shouldn't gamble. Don't gamble. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I put my money down. I got my money back. I got a decent chunk of change back. And I was very happy because, yeah, I literally said, that's it. Celtics are winning this year. But, all right.
Portland. In exchange for Holiday, the Celtics have sent Rob Williams and Malcolm Brogdon to the Blazers. Portland also gets a 2024 first-round pick via Golden State and a 2029 first-round pick. Here's what Jaylen Brown.
And with the acquisition of Jrue Holiday, the Celtics would go on to dominate the 2024 season, having one of the greatest seasons in NBA history, resulting in an NBA championship. Over the course of a decade, the Celtics went through a massive rebuild that featured 112 players, 30 draft picks, 4 coaches, 2 GMs, one of the worst seasons in franchise history, 5 conference finals appearances, and finally, they had their championship roster. All of this stemming from 4 measly draft picks the Nets threw in as consolation in a lopsided trade 11 years ago. Look at the Celtics today and all of their talent.
I still think that trade that the Celtics made was absolutely atrocious. I don't think that trade was good. I think anybody speaking out of their right mind will tell you that trade was absolutely atrocious. Nobody's going to sit there and tell you it was a good trade. And they got a lot of luck that hit their way to begin with, but I'll give them the pieces that they deserve. Like, yeah, getting Jrue Holiday, getting Kristaps Porzingis, trading away pieces, okay, in order to get, they traded away their picks in order to get, fuck, his name's escaping me. Fuck. But yeah, they got Marcus Smart. What was his name? His name's escaping me. Fuck. Hold on. It's, Derek White. Fuck. I didn't have to look it up. I wasn't done, by the way, here. I wasn't done typing. Derek White. Jesus. But yeah, trading away pieces to get Derek White. That was a very good pickup. Trading away Marcus Smart, getting Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, building your championship team. The thing I have to say, though, in order for this to be like an actual major success, yes, they got a championship, and it's hard for any team to double as a champion. The last champion that we had go back-to-back was that super team of the Golden State Warriors. That was the last back-to-back champion. Was the Golden State Warriors 2017 Warriors. That's the last time. So the way I see it, right, is what they have to do is win another one. I know it's hard to do. I know it's difficult to do. But in order for you to be like a super successful team, you got to show that all this right here actually means something. One championship is good. Do not get me wrong. I'm not shitting on that. But all these fucking picks, all this sacrifice, you gotta go. You gotta go win another one. So we'll see what happens this year. I think they are the favorite, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look that up real quick. Let's see. NBA Finals favorites. Let's see. Yeah, the Celtics are the favorites right now. So they are the favorites. Oklahoma City is coming in second. And look, they're the favorite by a large margin. Look at this. Okay? They are the favorite, dog. They're the favorites. Okay, so when it comes down to it, right? They got to win. And I'm going to go ahead and put some money down. Because what is this? This is saying plus 300 odds. I'm going to go ahead and put some money down on this, by the way. But, but yeah. No, they should be the favorites to win it all. And they should win it all. They better win it all. Because I'm going to put money down on this shit tonight. But anyway.
Their record-setting season, the championship they earned. And you'll see a team that was bound to win a title. They've been called a super team, an easy path to the finals. Too good for their own good. But when you take a step back and look at the long road the Celtics took to get here, you'll find resilience, sacrifice, patience, risk-taking, genius, management, and coaching, and an organization that has been meticulously crafting and building their championship team for over a decade. This championship...
My man got a nasty smile. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's...
Team.
Motherfucker, you mother... Bro, you made $20 million. You're on a $125 million contract. You can't get your ass some braces? The fuck was that? The fuck was that? What is that? What the hell is that? Nasty ass smile. God damn. Fucking bottle opener for a tooth right here.
For over a decade. This championship was no fluke. If finding themselves in the same situation, I'm not sure how many organizations would have the foresight or composure to make some of the moves Boston did throughout this process to get where they are today. In the summer of 2013, the Boston Celtics made what was thought at the time to be one of the worst trades the NBA has ever seen. But unknown...
Hold on. This was still a bad trade. I do not want that to be mistaken. This was still a terrible fucking trade. Atrocious ass trade. But, it turned out good, okay? It's still a bad trade. If I go and I trade all my life savings today for a lottery ticket, and I can't pay rent tomorrow, and I live on the street for a week until the lottery numbers are picked, that was still a terrible fucking choice, even if I end up winning the lottery down the line. Like, we gotta understand, this was a bad trade, but it did shape up to be something good.
To them. 11 years later, this infamous trade would trigger a sequence of events that would put the Celtics on a crash course with NBA history and a championship.
Good shit. Good shit. Another banger from JxmyHighroller's. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so... I respect you guys coming checking out more content. Like I said, I like to switch between basketball and drama, shit like that. I'm probably going to go over a little bit of the Jeff Teague shit. That'll probably be a shorter video, you know, my first like short form video on this platform. But besides that, I appreciate the love, appreciate the respect. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope you're enjoying your New Year's, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out. Love you.